Welcome to the Real Estate 401k Show. Here are your hosts, Ryan Gertis, Mike Weinstein, and Justin Frederick, helping you build a legacy of wealth through real estate. Powered by the Recon Group at West USA and the Frederick team with Fairway Mortgage. NMLS number 625918.
Well, we've got what I consider incredible news for Phoenix homeowners and people who are looking to buy in Phoenix and buying a property that's got a little bit of land. Up until real recent, it was a challenge to have a casita. You couldn't build a casita. You could build a structure, but then you couldn't have the plumbing and the kitchens and so forth. And so there were some workarounds, but it became very, very problematic. Well, the city of Phoenix, by a vote of 8-1, from the city council, Phoenix Mayor Kate Gallego has announced that it is now easier and obtainable for people to build a casita in their home. Now, the technical term is ADUs.
Accessory dwelling unit.
Yes. Well, why does the government always got to just screw things? It's
Why
a
can't you
casita.
just call it a guest house?
But Ryan, this is newsworthy because up until now, I mean, walk us through the process and walk us through the restrictions that people who own property in Phoenix faced.
Well, so it always started with zoning. So if you have a single-family zoning lot or real estate, then conceivably you can only build one home on it. And so they basically threw out all these strings attached, and all right, you can't have a full working kitchen, you can't have a range in there. So there was just a bunch of these little dummy laws, but people still went over there and they'd build the structure, they'd hide the plumbing, go get their their permit green lit, and then once everything was good to go, then they'd open the walls back up and throw in the oven, and then whenever it came around time to sell it again, then an appraiser would go over there and they'd say, oh, no good here, especially if it was VA. So it was always weird stuff, right? So I'm reading this. This is pretty exciting, actually, because I think a lot of people are going to take advantage of this because, yeah, it is a fantastic option if you are wanting to get into the investing game, because you may not have the resources to up and move and convert your current home into a rental. You may not. But if you want to go get a HELOC and build a second home and have a 2-bedroom, 1 bath or whatever in the back that you can rent out, I think this is a fantastic way for people to enter the real estate investment market.
Yeah, and you talk about investing too, and if our listeners want our help in finding property in real estate, you now have the strategy. You can now buy a property with the intent at whatever market prices it is, based on the square footage, but that once you close escrow on this, you're now going to build that casita in the back. That is going to increase the value of your property exponentially.
Big time.
And I mean, I just want to throw out there, I got a renovation loan that can add
That's
a
on-
casita
that's on-
in there.
that's on my notes.
I don't know if I ever say
on my
this
notes.
in here, but I got a product for this.
I'm going to give you a black eye on the other side of your face for that. All right, so let's talk about renovation loans.
Yeah,
Our listener texts the word, how about casita, to 623-AZ Recon. We help them find a single-family dwelling with a large enough lot to build a casita, guest house, whatever you want to call it, a granny house in the back, and walk us through the construction loan and how that helps and what that allows us to do.
All right, so let's say that we're buying a $400,000 house and we're needing $80,000 for a casita. We got all the bids in, and basically we turn in the bids. We give that to the appraiser. The appraiser is going to appraise the home, considering the casita already built in there. As long as that value comes back within a close range, within 10% of what we need, we can go ahead and move forward. Meaning if let's say that it's going to cost us $480 to build this, and along with the fees, let's just say $490 with permits and engineering and things like that, and let's say the value comes back at $480, we're good to go. You could put down 5% on that purchase. If you're a first-time home buyer, you can put down 3% on that amount of money, and we will give you the funds we'll give the funds to the GC to do the work. Now there's no self-work in here, so you're going to have to hire a GC to do this work for you, and they can.
What if you are a GC?
You can't do that. No self-work, even if you are a GC. It's got to go out to somebody else.
Got it.
And
unfortunately.
I'm just gonna warn everybody that listens to this. You don't want me to be your GC.
No.
No.
I don't even want you talking to the GC, dude.
I've seen you try to hang a picture on the wall.
So, funny story. So, one of our previous homes, my wife bought this, I don't know what you would call it, something that you would put on the wall, you hang your keys, and you put your mail in the slot or whatever the case is. And so I can't hang things. I can't do anything with tools, right? So a couple years later, we go to move, and Mindy goes, are we going to take that? I'm like, no, I had to wood glue this thing to the wall because I had so many holes in it, right? Fast forward a couple years later, I'm showing homes to an investor, and that home's back on the market. He wants to see the home. We walk in there, and that thing is still on the wall.
No way.
So if it involves wood glue, I'm your man.
Thing's not going anywhere.
So I don't know. I don't even know if I even want to share this with people because, Ryan, I want to go through some of the regulations. We, as investors ourselves, we need to seriously consider jumping on this because this is a huge option, especially with Justin's renovation loan. So for lots up to 10,000 or let's say 10,000 square feet or less, the maximum ADU or casita that you can build is 1,000 square feet. But if you have a lot that's over 10,000 square feet, you can build a casita up to 3,000 square feet. That's bigger than most homes.
Or 10% of the net lot area, whichever is less. But yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, it
That's
depends
huge.
on what your original footprint is already eaten up.
Okay, there's always nuances.
And it
to
can
it.
exceed
But
75%.
But my
of the
point is, or you buy a vacant lot. What's to keep you from, and if it's over 10,000 square feet, what's to keep you from building 3,000 square foot homes?
Well, it's got to be 75%. Less than 75% of the gross.
Let's not confuse everybody with details, okay?
I'm just trying to confuse
Mike
now.
Well, if you own a property in Phoenix and you are wanting to learn more about this, or if you're an investor and you're wanting to, consider the city of Phoenix and have our expertise in helping you do that, we want you to text the word Casita to 623-AZ-RECON. That's Casita to 623-AZ-RECON. Ryan?
So in here, they're trying to say, the city tells Arizona's families that the property's primary owner must live in the main house or the casita, and if they use the home as a rental, both living spaces cannot be rented separately. Good luck.
Yeah, well, and that's what the one gentleman that voted against it, he was saying, like, we already have a short-term rental problem here in the valley. There's no way that we can manage that. And
What short-term rental problem do we have?
Right. I mean, to them, they're seeing they're saying that there's a problem.
Well, the best part about short-term rentals is that if you're not doing it right, the market quickly lets you know.
Sure.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
And you are going to get suffocated fast. So I don't see it as being a problem. I see it as being, hey,
I think it's cool that you could build a casita though, and if let's say you're a buyer out there that's having a problem thinking that you can come up with your monthly payment, well, use the renovation loan, build an accessory unit, rent that bad boy out, and you can make up a portion of your monthly payment.
So I go through the process. I get approved for the renovation loan. Do they fund, how quickly do they fund the acquisition?
So typically we want a 45-day close of escrow because you're going to need to come up with the bids. We're going to need to vet the contractor because we're going to have to check on their license and bonding. But then once we close, they can take up to 40% of the loan up front for materials and get going.
So they cut the check before they even swing hammers.
40%, up to 40%.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
What about a group home? Okay, if I've got two dwellings and I can only rent it, if I'm going to rent out the dwellings, I can only rent it to one entity, one person. A group home would be perfect for something like this, bro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, a couple other lists of regulations. Of course, your attached ADU needs to meet all required standard setbacks. Cannot be higher than 15 feet. So that is one of them. So that's the one thing people need to keep in mind is you can't increase your square footage by going vertical.
Okay. All right. Dude, I think Pershing needs it.
Well, it's not in the city of Phoenix.
Oh, that's true. That's you got me there.
Well, there are a lot of options, a lot of things to consider out there. But if you are a homeowner in the city of Phoenix and you feel like you've got the space to build a casita in the back, you just need to know things have changed. And we can introduce you to Justin here, who can talk to you about renovation loans if you're a savvy, and even if you're a homeowner. I mean, why wouldn't I? I'm a homeowner. Okay, I'm going to live in this house. I'm going to have some kids in this house. But you know what? I'm going to build a casita in the back, between 1,000 and 3,000 square feet, depending on the lot size. Rent that. It's an incredible way to offset your mortgage and your expenses. Or if you're just a savvy investor, we'd love to have a conversation with you. We'd love to strategize with you about ADUs or casitas, guest houses, whatever you want to call them, in the city of Phoenix. All you got to do is text the word casita to 623-AZ-RECON. That's casita to 623-AZ-RECON.
Thank you for joining us on the Real Estate 401k Show. If you want more information on how to build wealth, click on the link or text us at 623-297-3266. That's 623-AZ-RECON.